Is your due date 11? What? How many times have you been pregnant?
3.
This is your 3rd pregnancy?
Yes.
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass.
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
Okay, this is the first patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due
I
date
just
is the
said it
10th.
was the 10th.
I think her due date is the 10th.
She had 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors.
The video I just watched is absolutely horrifying. There is footage circulating on social media right now of a young black pregnant mother in active labor arriving to an emergency department, and instead of receiving urgent, compassionate care, the triage nurse appears to be more focused on completing paperwork than focusing on the human life right in front of her. It appears she doesn't visibly check her, no fetal monitoring, no stabilization, instead forms in a mother that is in active labor. This is a medical emergency, and in that moment, she appears to be completely ignored. No empathy, no humanity, just cold, and that is completely unacceptable. My heart goes out to that mother. I hope with all my being that she and her baby are okay, because we as healthcare workers, we should be the ones that embody light, hope, compassion, humanity. But in this case, all of that was missing. And here's the hard truth. This is not an isolated incident. Black women in the United States are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. 3 times. If you saw that video and if what you witnessed is an obvious display of discrimination and you felt your blood boil, you are not alone, because I am fired up too. Because this is entirely preventable. And as caregivers and as healers, we must demand better from ourselves and from our system. And to that young mother, I truly hope you're okay. I hope someone stepped in. I hope you were heard, and I hope you were seen. To my fellow healthcare workers, we need to do better. We must show up. We must listen. We must take action, because every mother deserves dignity. Every baby deserves life, and every patient deserves humanity.
I don't see this getting enough attention, so we're gonna go ahead and just get straight to the point. This is Nurse LaChrista Vaughn. LaChrista works at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, and the other day she had a woman in the triage room and she had no type of sense of urgency whatsoever. Mind you, this patient was clearly in pain, and you can even hear in her tone of voice that she just did not care whatsoever. I'm gonna insert a snippet of the video that I saw so you guys can take a look.
Fuck.
When's your due date?
Right now.
Is your due date 11? What? How many times have you been pregnant?
Now, as y'all saw from the clip, she showed no type of empathy and no type of sense of urgency whatsoever. In fact, the way she was even asking the questions, she sounded more annoyed than anything. When is your due date? How many times have you been pregnant? Like, she sounded like this was something that just annoyed the crap out of her. And when you go through her social media posts, which is all public, by the way, she constantly makes jokes like this right here. And then to top it all off, the hospital itself has horrible reviews. So you would think that with those horrible reviews, they would be on the employees to try and turn their brand around. But instead, you have comments being left like these right here. And the craziest part about this is that before anyone assumes that, okay, these are just spam comments after this event took place, it's not. A lot of these comments are from 5 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 11 months ago. And what's really bad is the fact that she's even been mentioned in a lot of those reviews, and somehow she's still employed there. LaChrista, if you see this, I just think that it is disgusting how you can post stuff like this and yet you don't own up to it. You're not a good person.
Family, that right there is medical racism. A lady was in labor, in active labor, and she had to wait for more than 30 minutes as the nurse wanted to fill up her paperwork. She wanted to know, all the procedures that should actually be done. But the lady was in actual active labor, but that did not seem to push that white nurse in any way. She did not care even to be in support emotionally. She did not run any random checks. She did not even touch her physically to try and understand the level of pain the lady was going through. Family, that right there is medical racism. And many black people face medical racism in America so much. Family, I'm told that the chances of black women dying through labor is 3 times more than the chances of white women dying through the very same labor. Family, this is very sad. This is one of the saddest videos I have seen on the internet today. A white nurse casually ignoring the heaviness that came with the active labor from these black women. She only wanted to fill up the paperwork. She did not care about the urgency. She even went ahead to ask for the due date to her mother, who's crying. She's been shouting that she's in active labor. You can actually see, the strain she's been having in her body. But that did not move the white nurse even a bit. They had to wait with the active labor for more than 30 minutes. And I'm told she gave back 12 minutes later. Family, just imagine the risk that the mother was put to because she's black. Because that right there, is racism. That right there is medical racism. And family, I stand to be corrected. Let me know in the comment section if that is normal for that to happen in American hospitals when it means a black woman, is going through labor. Fam, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end as different people react to the same. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
I just watched something that absolutely disgusted me. As a former ER nurse and a current labor and delivery nurse, I usually try to seek the best intent of a nurse. Not today. Because barring you having a medical emergency yourself, where your legs, your arms, and your voice no longer work, there is zero excuse for the blatant neglect that I just watched. And as a reminder, Black women are 3 times as likely to die in and around childbirth than their white counterpart. Part of that is because they are not believed about their pain. How you can sit there on the computer and act like you don't notice that this woman is actively birthing beside you is crazy town to me. Unacceptable, inexcusable. And if you've got coworkers who you watch do something like that, you are just as culpable.
I'm watching this clip of a Black mother, and I will show you this, in active labor at Dallas Regional Medical Hospital in Mesquite, Texas, and my stomach is in knots. She is screaming, she can't sit, she's doubled over in pain. Anyone with eyes can see she is in active labor, and instead of being taken straight to labor and delivery, she is stuck in that waiting room for over 30 minutes while someone registers her like she's checking in for a dental appointment. So here's the clip.
Fuck.
When's your due date?
Right now.
Is your due date September 11th?
What?
How many times have you been pregnant?
3.
This is your 3rd pregnancy?
Yes.
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass.
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
There was a first out of vision for you.
Her due
I
date is
just
the
said it
10th.
was the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
And the healthcare professional sitting right there doesn't acknowledge her pain at all. No urgency, no assistance, no call to labor and delivery, nothing. 12 minutes later, she delivered her baby. 12 minutes. So that tells you everything and exactly how close she was when she was left out there in agony. People love to pretend medical racism is some historical artifact, but this is exactly what it looks like today. This is how Black mothers die. Our pain is dismissed, our symptoms are minimized, care is delayed until it's almost too late, and then everyone acts shocked at the maternal mortality statistics. There is absolutely no universe where this is acceptable patient care. Active labor at that stage is an emergency. She should have been immediately transferred to labor and delivery, full stop. And if this is how she was treated before delivery, imagine how she may have been treated postpartum. And that is truly what scares me. I hope that this young lady and her baby are safe, but this cannot keep happening. Black mothers deserve better, and the system knows it. It is long past time to root this out entirely.
Medical racism is real, and I just watched it play out right in front of me. A Black mother came in literally about to give birth, like she could barely breathe through the contractions. And instead of rushing her to a delivery room, these nurses sat her in the waiting area like she was here for a routine checkup. I'm not kidding, this woman was doubled over, screaming, begging for help. And the nurses acted like they couldn't hear her, just walking around, shuffling paperwork, talking to each other like nothing was happening, completely oblivious, or pretending to be. And she sat there for over 30 minutes, suffering, shaking, crying out, while everyone ignored her pain. And the wildest part? Her baby boy was born 12 minutes after they finally decided, oh, maybe we should take her back now. 12 minutes. The whole delivery was chaotic and awful because they waited until the last possible second. It did not have to be like that. Watching those nurses move so slow, so careless, while a Black woman literally fought through labor in the waiting room, it made my blood boil. If she wasn't Black, they would have rushed her back immediately, no hesitation.
Tell me why I saw a Black mother about to give birth not in the delivery room, but in the damn waiting area waiting for a nurse to sort through the damn documents. This Black mother came in clearly in active labor, like full contractions, barely standing, and instead of rushing her to a delivery room, the nurses told her to sit in the waiting area. The waiting area. I couldn't believe it. This woman was crying out, gripping the chair, literally screaming in pain, and the nurses were just ignoring her, acting like her suffering was background noise. They were chatting, sorting paperwork, moving at the slowest pace imaginable, while this poor woman was basically about to give birth right there on the floor. She sat there for over 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And then, get this, they finally take her back, and her baby is born 12 minutes later. And I'm telling you right now, if she hadn't been a Black woman, they would have rushed her straight back without a second thought. What I saw was neglect. It was disrespect. It was absolutely racist, and it made my stomach drop.
My father lost his mother at 16 years old due to medical malpractice while she was pregnant with a set of twins. She walked into a hospital and never returned home to her children. When I saw the video of this white nurse ignoring the pain of this woman that is clearly in labor, in active labor, I was absolutely disgusted. Not only was that sister's information already in the system because she was due to be induced that day, but this nurse, who people have identified as LaCrista Vaughn, nonchalantly handled this woman during this emergency, to which she literally delivered her son 12 minutes after. And for those who say that this is not about race, it is always about race, especially when it comes to Black people and especially when it comes to Black women in the medical system. The maternal mortality for Black women is 10 times higher than any other demographic in the United States of America. There are still racial biases that assumes that Black people can handle a higher threshold of pain to where we are not tended to, nor giving the proper care or medication to mitigate that pain. This book by Harriet A. Washington called Medical Apartheid literally details the history of medical experimentation on Black Americans in the United States. It also talk about how a lot of gynecological practices and advancements were as a result of testing Black women's bodies without medication or anesthesia. For me, it is not enough that LaCrista Vaughn loses her job. But white folks, it is time for y'all to stand up and stand within the gaps because Black folks have been yelling into the void. It is evident that our screams, our cries, our hurt goes unheard. Y'all have the opportunity to actually advocate and stand up against things that are blatantly wrong and racist. Do something.
I just watched a video of a Black woman basically in full-on labor, trying to be admitted into the hospital. And the hospital worker, and this is a Dallas hospital, white lady, there's no urgency. She acts like she's checking somebody in for their fucking yearly checkup, while this woman is screaming in pain, obviously in full-on labor. Black women are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth or from complications from childbirth. Black women are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth or from complications from childbirth. Studies still show that like half of white medical students still believe the myth that Black people feel pain differently or have thicker skin or less nerve endings. So please take today and cuss out a racist nurse if you can. We all know some, don't we?
This is a registered nurse named LaCrista Vaughn, and she sat here with complete disregard for a woman in active labor, screaming in pain, asking for help. And she responds to her and says, "I cannot help you." And this isn't even the first time she's been caught on camera with, in my opinion, a complete disregard for her patients. A Black trans man came in from having seizures, and according to him, he was treated like he was on substances. Which, by the way, even if someone was, they still deserve to be cared for. The woman that she treated this way, a Black woman who is already at a higher risk, she ended up delivering her baby 12 minutes after getting out of triage. Her baby had their first bowel movement while still inside of her. However, we have an update that they are doing well physically. You can't tell me as a nurse that she is not aware of the statistics of Black women in healthcare. To look at her in the eyes and say that I can't help you. And for anyone who's ever had a baby, you know how horrible this type of pain is. And I guess the hospital, allegedly, in my opinion, doesn't like all this attention because they shut down their comments. I found this post very concerning where she says, "Any suggestions on switching specialties? Looking at moving from ER to labor and delivery. Are there any open residencies in DFW?" Thank God she didn't find an open residency or she changed her mind, because she, in my opinion, shouldn't be in labor and delivery, the ER, or any type of job that involves any type of care for human life. Giving birth to your baby should be a magical, safe experience where doctors and nurses believe you and they treat you with dignity and care. This mother should be able to go home and enjoy being with her baby and have walked away feeling safe, and they got the exact opposite. For what reason? I would love to hear in her words why she treated her that way. And lastly, for anyone who believes that there isn't racism in the medical field because maybe you're a nurse and you would never do that, if you can see a video like this and not see that this is happening, you're part of the problem.
I don't know who this woman is, but she does not need to be working in nobody's hospital, clinic, or nothing dealing with health. Watch how she treats a woman who is in active labor.
How many times have you been pregnant? 3! This is your 3rd pregnancy?
Yes! This woman is in active
You
labor.
have 2 babies at home?
And she's sitting there asking her questions,
Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor.
not putting her in a bed. She won't even look at her. How is this not medical malpractice? Apparently, this has happened at Dallas Regional Medical Center because the mother is giving updates. And I just don't understand why everybody is just acting so callous at the hospital. That's crazy. And I've interviewed so many people. I'm a Black woman myself, and the mortality rate for Black women when they have babies is way higher than any other demographic because you don't listen to Black women when they tell you they are in pain. The woman was yelling. She said she was in pain, yet that woman just sat there and asked her all these questions that could have been answered later. Whether she had insurance or not at that hospital, they were supposed to help her immediately. She was in immediate pain. Now, I'm no medical professional, so y'all explain to me, how is this not medical malpractice? And she said because of the stress on the mother and the baby during delivery, that the baby had a bowel movement before she had the baby, so there was green in the amniotic fluid. So the baby may have an infection and they got to go get that checked. Now, whose problem is that? Should that have even happened? Let me know. Is that medical malpractice? Am I missing something?
It's normal for them to get the paperwork and get all of your, history and stuff in the computer. What's not normal is the demeanor and the attitude that the nurse had towards her. There was no type of comforting words. There was no acknowledgement. I'm more disgusted by the behavior of the nurse, not the whole intake process. What pisses me off is that she's clearly in a lot of pain. She's in discomfort. Things could have been handled differently. If you're going into the hospital like that, you're screaming in pain, they need to be handling it differently. And no one else was in that room doing anything. That nurse was sitting there calling doctor's offices or whatever, but there was no sense of urgency. And I'm sorry, but giving birth is like life and death, okay? Unfortunately, I know of a mom who got septic and passed away right after she gave birth. I think we forget that even though you're in a hospital setting, it is still extremely dangerous and things can go wrong. There should have been some kind of sense of urgency, empathy, sympathy, something from the nurse. I don't care that we're overworked or whatever. That doesn't mean that you deserve bad care.
We need to talk about that Dallas mother, because what happened to her in that hospital, it isn't just bad care, it isn't understaffing, it isn't a misunderstanding. It's medical racism caught on camera, and it's one of the most uncomfortable videos I've ever watched. This woman arrives to Dallas Regional Medical Center already in active labor, not early contractions, not discomfort. The baby was born 12 minutes later. And despite all of that, she's left sitting in a wheelchair, visibly in agony, screaming through transitions, while the nurse next to her, a white nurse, is staring at the computer asking her routine maternity questions, and she doesn't look at her once, not a single glance. And when I say not a single glance, I mean not one, not even to assess her breathing, her contractions, whether the baby was crowning or not, nothing. She stares at the screen, she types, she asks questions, while the woman next to her is literally giving birth. And the callousness of that, the complete lack of urgency, that's not a staffing issue, that's a biased issue. Because this is exactly how Black women end up dying in childbirth. In the US, Black mothers are 3 to 4 more times likely to die during childbirth than white women are. And in the UK, that number is 4 times higher. And the reasons are identical. They're not listened to, they're not believed, and their pain is constantly dismissed. Because what we saw in that video is the pattern that gets talked about in research, reports and statistics, but barely gets captured in real time. A Black woman in obvious distress, and the medical professional responsible for her safety doesn't even turn her head. And the most disturbing part, if anything had gone wrong, if that baby had gone into distress, if that mother had collapsed, if either one of them had died, we already know where the blame would have fallen. Not on the system, not on the bias, but on the mother who was begging for help while being ignored.
Watch how this nurse dismisses the pain of a woman giving birth at Dallas Regional in Mesquite, Texas.
When's your due date? Right now. Is your due date 11? What? How many times have you been pregnant? 3. This is your 3rd pregnancy? Yes. You have 2 babies. It's in my ass. your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
Beverly, this is the first another patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is the 10th.
I think her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
This video is infuriating because my wife, she has had 3 kids. I understand the process. I understand the pain of it also. Black women are more likely to die. I believe it's 3 to 1, more likely to die in childbirth. And according to some studies, it's because of things like this, where they're not taken seriously for the pain that they're going through. This is unacceptable to the highest degree. Shame on you.
If you have any shred of humanity in you at all, and this video came across your timeline and you weren't disgusted, there's something wrong with you. All right? This happened down in Texas. You can read the information on the page. She was in active labor while this nurse was ignoring her labor pains and her cries for help, asking her a bunch of dumb intake questions they could have asked later. And to make matters worse, I'm sure they already have all this information in their computer because she had already been to this hospital. Okay, at one point, the person behind the camera was like, do you treat all your patients this way or just the black ones? And then the nurse continued to ignore it, didn't acknowledge her at all. She gave birth minutes later, minutes after this. So this baby was actively pushing to come out while she was sitting in that wheelchair, being ignored. She could have died this way. So this video was uploaded, already has millions and millions of views. I hope they decide to press charges because this is inhumane behavior. This is ridiculous. This is a part of the reason why the black women's mortality rate in childbirth is so high.
Family, that video literally made me cry. Family, that is very, very sad. There is no humanity right there. There is no dignity. There is no regard to human life. Family, this is one of the saddest videos I have seen on the internet today. How do you leave a woman who's on active labor start asking questions? You know, at some point, the lady who was recording the video had to question and ask, does this happen to white folks? Or does it mean this is happening because this lady is black? Family, these are sad moments. You know, these are things that I do not want to see in the future. These are things that have been happening in America for the longest time. Most of which have not, been recorded like the one you're seeing in this video. Family, these are really, really sad times. I really wish that a stand action should be taken against this nurse because she does not have regard to humanity. She does not have dignity, and she does not respect the life of the mother and that of the kid. She's on the line of duty. She should have handled that situation as an emergency. I do not say that she shouldn't ask for information about the mother, the history of the mother. Sometimes such information is crucial. But how so low do you do that? Why are you not even emotionally attached to whatever is happening? Why do you want to push the paperwork to run really, really slowly? Well, indeed, you're seeing the urgency with the labor right there. That is active labor. It doesn't take a medical practitioner to see that. I myself am not a nurse. I am not a doctor, but I could see the urgency right there. Nothing was taken urgently. She went ahead to ask questions slowly with a soft voice, and like anything is happening. It's like the lady went to hospital early even before she started labor. They were waiting for labor, but we are seeing these as an active labor scene. But the lady doesn't seem to be moved. Family, where did humanity go to? Where did love and regard for human life go to? Where is respect for humanity? Family, why does she act as if the other lady is not a human being? Family, this is very, very sad. And for me to say that, I just say that I must react on the same. I must speak and call out certain forms of racism. It doesn't matter the color of the skin of your client. The lady is there because of, the lady is there and you should be giving her service. Many a times I tell people, wherever you've been employed, wherever you work, you should ensure that you give people utmost respect. You should give people prompt services. When you're a medical practitioner, there's some things that should be taken with a lot of urgency. That goes, without asking. There's no way that a lady, that, in that much pain in a hospital and you just relax. Where are other people in the hospital? Well, this nurse was misbehaving. Where were other people to come up and just say, no, whatever we are seeing is too much? Where were other medical practitioners? What is happening in this hospital? How many mothers have lost their lives in such a situation like the one we've seen right there? Because many of which have not been posted, like the one of our black sister. I want to commend our black sister so much for having to hold all that pain and wait to give her child, the life her child deserves. I want to condemn the actions of that white nurse. I really hope that actions would be taken against her. I really hope that she'll be arrested. She does not need to continue working for that hospital. She does not need to serve any other hospital, because why would somebody do that to a mother? Well, she herself is a woman. When a man could have done that, we could say that a man does not understand what it takes to give birth. But family, this is a fellow lady. A lady who probably has children. She knows what it is to be in active labor. She did not seem to care. She was not moved in any way. She was not even there emotionally. She did not even run any random checks to get to understand the depth of the pain that the lady is facing. She did not treat that as an emergency. You wonder sometimes, why are some people employed in the fields they are employed in? Family, some things are so wrong. The lady was in active labor, but the nurse was not in a rush. She only wanted to complete her paperwork. She doesn't physically check her up. She doesn't do any random monitoring. She doesn't even want to stabilize or look at how the situation can be handled. There was no regard for human life. Family, there was no dignity. At any given point in time, did we not see any form of rush, to try and curb the situation from going to be even worse? There was no empathy, no humanity, and she had to wait for 30 minutes on that situation. She had to wait for 30 minutes. Yo, the black women in the US are 3 times dying while giving birth compared to that white woman. Family, these statistics just shows you how many nurses do not give, black women the support they need to be given. Family, this has just brought a lot in my head. And I really wish that we should have, in the near future, a lot of black nurses. We should have exclusive black hospitals. I'm not saying this to mean in any way prejudice or racism. What I mean is for our women to be treated right. If it means that black people have their own black institutions, hospitals, that would treat black women with urgency, that would treat black women who are pregnant with love and ensure that they are handled and cared for in a prompt manner. Let it be. I'd really wish that we'd have many black people as possible, in this field, who would handle our cases with love and care. Because family, how many times will we be seeing the very, very same thing happen to our black women? How many times will we be broken, seeing certain things happening? Family, imagine what could have transpired in that very situation. We could have easily lost the life of the baby or the life of the mother because of a very, very ignorant white nurse who doesn't seem to care, to give service to a black woman. Family, how many of these cases have gone unnoticed? How many women have we lost in the black community? How many more are we eyeing to lose in the near future? Because family, these very same behaviors will continue. I really wish that the authorities take stand action against the woman. I really wish that black people could come together and ensure that we only take our women to hospitals with black practitioners. And I really, really hope that there'll be many graduates of black people who will be in this very same field. Because family, I'm told that specifically in labor, a lot of our women are lost. Not because of natural causes, but because of negligence, because of lack of dignity when it comes to this very same field. I really, really hope that change could be seen in the near future. I hope that our women will be treated right. Black women should be treated with a lot of love. If anything, black women are the mothers of humanity, the very, very first human beings in the course of the earth. There's no way that our women will be treated the way they are treated today. It is uncalled for. It is something that must be stopped. This is unprecedented, and we should not have any other cases of this manner. Every mother deserves dignity. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, colored, it doesn't matter. Every other woman deserves dignity. Every other woman should be treated with a lot of humanity. Every child deserves life. Every mother who walks into a hospital in labor, their child who's unborn deserves life. And if you tamper with that right of the kid to be birthed, you're tampering with God's natural work. This is nature. And you've decided to tamper with nature, to tamper with God's work. Who are you as a human being? Family, some things, I want us to look at some of these things spiritually. Leave alone your workplace. Leave alone the service you should give people. Let us look at it from a spiritual point of view. This is a human being that is being birthed. This mother is a human being. If you do not love the mother, at least give respect to what God has ordained. This is a baby. This is life being brought forth. At least respect life. At least respect what God, wants to fulfill in this mother's life. The one thing that made me so sad is the fact that the lady, the white nurse, could also be a mother. She knows what it takes to be in active labor, but she decides to be a woman who does not respect mothers. She does not respect the lives of unborn babies, and that is uncalled for. This should be taken, a lot of action. The lady should be arrested. I really hope she's not free right now. There should be lawsuits against her for whatever she's done. If anything, the hospital should also ensure that she's taken to bars. She answers to the law, because that is not a good representation to the hospital, unless the hospital themselves support certain actions like that one, which are so uncouth and uncalled for. You know, every child deserves a life, every mother deserves a life, and humanity should always be upholded no matter what. At least uphold humanity. What do you mean? Family, that is so sad, and I really hope that they should be changed in future. And my call is for black people in health, black people who are medical practitioners. It's time for you all to come up. It's time for black entrepreneurs, black bosses, big entrepreneurs. It's time that you all come up with big institutions, hospitals, and ensure that you employ our black people. So that for the first time, our women can be treated right. For the first time, our women can get timely service. Our women could get humanity back to them. Our unborn children should be given birth to in a responsible manner. Family, thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think is a proper situation to this very big problem, because numbers do not lie. This is a big problem and we need urgency with this. We need this to be fixed in American hospitals. Family, thank you so much. Kindly do consider subscribing to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, fam. I'd really appreciate if you'd be a part of this amazing journey. Lastly, the goal of this channel has always been to talk about black stories, black history, and ensure that we tell our stories the black way. Because if we give the white supremacists an opportunity to tell our stories, history has proven us many a times our stories are whitewashed. Family, thank you. Let us push the agenda and ensure that this video reaches as many black people as possible. Family, thank you so much, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.